Welcome to Divine Intervention. This week we have another amazing story for you. The life of evangelist Roderick Robinson. He has lived a life that has been transformed by the Spirit of God. He spent over 4 years in prison. Yes, this story will keep you on the edge of your seat.
I grew up in the country with about 10 sisters, and I was the only boy in the home at the time. Now, I was a little bit boring being around my sisters, so as a result, I took the street for it, so I was on the street. At the time, I couldn't read, right? And so it was easy for people to have me their way. So I got myself involved with some young men. Well, they were young men, but they were older than me. And they were people who, at the time, I look upon as fathers. Understand? So the whole absentee father thing. And here, now we have some young men like me, but they are a little bit older. They were now playing the role of a father. And so that the whole father thing, that children listen to father. So now those bogus fathers, so to speak, they were the ones who basically control my life. So they tell me what to do, when to do it, and how to do it. And I believe that's where my life started, getting the wrong influence. I wanted attention. And so I would do anything that I could have done at the time, I could do to get attention. And so I used to just go around and just beat up on people. And it wasn't because I was bad or anything. It was just attention. You just want to feel like a human being. You understand? When I was in the country, I used to thief, I used to rob people. And when I say rob people, not with gun. You just go to them yard and thief them something where them have. You understand? So, you thief from people to survive. I remember one day I went to a friend home just to get some food. I went at the time when I know that his mother was cooking. And I went to get some food. And the mother knew that I came for food. And what she did, she delayed the pot. Because she didn't want to give me any of the food. So I was there waiting. So you know what she did? In the country, you have to full up water pan and them thing there. So she sent her 4 boys to go and full up the water pan them, and just for me to get fed up and leave. And you know what I did when everybody gone? I just went in the kitchen and take off the pot off a fire and thief them food and deal with some food. And so by this time, then it was evident that I was the one who took it. It's when the man them come home and find out that them food was eaten off and that I was the one who took it, the man them almost killed me with lick. I came to Kingston and it was the same thing. I was thieving from people to survive. I was making trouble. Now, the thing about Kingston is that the environment is different from country. So, in Kingston, you have some people now who them man you call them the thugs. They never use them term then at them time, the thugs thing. You understand? Those guys were bad boy. Them have them motive. Them have things that they want to achieve. And so what they usually do is use the youngsters to achieve whatever they want to achieve. You understand? So at an early stage in my life, they started to put gun in my hand. We start to go dance with people and we start to fight. We find ourselves in gangs. Well, not gangs, but gang. You understand? Gangs more than one. But I find myself in a gang. And I mean, we would just go to dance hall and we would just fight and we would just go on with all kind of thing. One day I went somewhere with some guys and a fight developed. And one of my friend, I stab him up real bad. It was a joke thing at the time, but the joke thing turned out to be a fight. And so I stab him up, and after me stab him up, now I go hospital, go look for him in a bar. You understand? Then when he came out of hospital, now we went to a dance, and a fight developed, and him got another stab again and went to hospital, and gunshot start to bust, and I kind of love the sound of gunshot that night. It kind of sounded real good, you know? I mean, gunshot a fire and it sounded real good. And then the man them where fire it, when you look at how them a bust the gun, it look real attractive. Is the right term I'm using, attractive? You know, it looked real attractive. And so, you know, you want to bust gun too. And so I used to go to my friends them, ask them to give me gun. But they told me that they wouldn't give me no gun because me a country boy, and country boy enough to fire gun and blah, 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 blah. And so I tried to buy a gun. I tried to buy a gun because there were some guys in the country who used to beat up on me when I was much younger. And I want to go down there, go show them, say me a bad man now. So, you know, I went to the country, and I'm laughing not because, you know, you feel good about it, but you are laughing because how stupid it was. So I tried to get a gun, and eventually I got a gun I got a gun. Well, never buy the gun. For myself, it was basically two of us who make up and buy the gun. And, you know, I went to the country, do some wrongs down there, stab up a young man. He got a whole heap of stitches. I was very young at the time, so, and this was the first time I went to prison. So I went to prison at age 17. At age 19, again, I went back to prison. At age 24, I went back. And this time it was for shooting with intent and illegal possession of a firearm. And, you know, that's basically how my life was, you know. But it started out with rejection, wanted to be accepted, you understand? And now you go to prison, and I did 4 years in prison. And it was 4 long years that was really rough. When I was in prison, my mind was so confused at one point that I thought that I would mad. I thought I would get mad. Because my mind was, I think my mind was plagued by some demonic stuff. And because I used to have some serious experiences. Because before I got saved, I was deeply involved in witchcraft. And when I got saved in prison, I was still involved in witchcraft, because in prison as a Christian, I was using witchcraft to come out. But I want to serve God, and I'm doing the witchcraft. And one of the worst things you could ever do is serious about serving God, because he's going to let something happen just for you to surrender. And I remember probably the demons them realized that I was more serious about serving God more than doing what they wanted me to do. And so they started to plague my mind. They started to plague my life.
Interesting beginnings of the life of Brother Roderick Robinson. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Dream.
Dave, it's time to go to work.
Stop dreaming about owning your own car and make it a reality.
Welcome to McCoy's Auto Imports Limited.
Our service is rated among the best. McCoy's Auto Imports, we believe in quality and making your dream reality.
Thank you, McCoy, for making our dream a reality.
Jamaica's only complete music store is now at a new location. 8 South Avenue is the new home of the Music Mart. Shop in ease and comfort for everything music. Pianos, keyboards, wind instruments, violins, CDs of every genre, PA equipment, recording equipment and accessories, DJ equipment, acoustic and electric guitars and drums, amplifiers, effects pedals, tuners, sheet music, instruction texts and reference books. All these and much more at affordable prices. The Music Mart, now at 8 South Avenue, Kingston 10. The Music Mart, Jamaica's only complete music store.
You know, there are times when you could do with some additional cash and you can't, or you really don't want to borrow from friends or family. But if you have a salary like me, EasyWay is here for you thanks to National PC Bank. The EasyWay personal unsecured loan is perfect for holidays, back to school, home, motor vehicle repair, and so much more.
The unsecured loans are for $50,000 to $500,000 with up to 36 months to repay.
Can you believe it? Now I have peace of mind. It's EasyWay all the way.
Maypen. Take your prescription to Tate's Pharmacy in Bargain Village Plaza, Maypen. They stock gifts, toys, baby world for everything baby. Visit the food court and the internet cafe all under one roof. Tate's Pharmacy, Maypen, bringing you the best of health.
Thanks for staying with us on Divine Intervention. We've been following the journey of evangelist Roderick Robinson. Let's get back to his story.
While I was in prison, I accepted the Lord as my Savior. And it was right there, so I recognized that God really has a plan for my life. And so, but I should backtrack a little that I actually got saved 3 times. The 3 times I went to prison, I got saved. I got saved the first time, and when I came out, somebody dissed me, and I told him that if you diss me, I will go back to prison because I've been there already. And so I went back to prison, and I became a Christian again, and backslid again. And the 3rd time, now this was the serious one. This was the serious one, and so I got saved, and you know, the Lord started to work in my life, and things started to happen in my life within the prison. I actually started to preach the gospel in prison. It was in prison I started to preach. It was prison I started to tell people about Jesus, because I hurt people so much that by this time I just want to make up back everything. When I got saved in prison, I didn't want to get baptized because the inmate, there was this bad man I knew. I know this guy who was a bad man. We used to run up and down, and he went to prison. And when I went to prison, I saw him there. And one of the first things he said to me is that, well, I told him that I was a Christian, and I'm looking forward to get baptized. And he said to me, I wouldn't advise you to get baptized in prison. And this is an unsafe talking. He said, I wouldn't advise you to get baptized in prison because the guy them in a prison, we say them a Christian, them a homosexual. And if you get baptized in the same pool with them are going to bow you up. Bow up mean that them are going to brand you to be homosexual. And so I remember I said to them, say, listen to me. I said to him, I have never involved in the act of homosexuality, but if they are going to brand me that I'm a homosexual for Jesus, so be it. And so I take chance, and I surrendered my life to the Lord, and I got baptized. And there was I was favored in prison, because I remember the first story I read in the Bible was the story about Joseph. And when I read it, it was fascinating to me. And I said, Lord, I want to be like this in prison. And trust me, it happened. I was given the key to lock down inmate, just like Joseph. I was actually a superintendent hardly. A superintendent hardly is a head prisoner who control a whole or something in prison, all right? As a result of that, when you hold a job like that in prison, people are going to hate you. You're going to brand it as informer. You're going to be branded as a whole thing. And so there was this particular guy who wanted to kill me. And he said, he told somebody that if me just walk and just brush on him, he might go just broke off him knife, you know what I mean? And it was kind of hard, because one part of me wanted to serve. I was serious about serving the Lord. But there was a part of me who want to hold on, because you're in this hostile environment and you don't want nobody say you're soft, because in my mind, boy, I might have to go defend myself one day in here and all of these things. So making the decision to serve the Lord, it was hard. But you know something? I don't know if I told you that I learned to read from the Bible in prison. And learning to read in prison from the Bible liberate my thinking. It liberate my mind. It liberate everything. My mentality was different. My vision was different. I want to serve the Lord, and I know that I want to serve the Lord. So therefore, whatever sacrifice I'm supposed to make to serve him, I'm going to serve him. And so, in spite of how hard it was, I managed to serve the Lord with his help. I believe that discipleship is very important. You know, Jesus said we must make disciples, and I think sometimes we misunderstand the whole concept about making disciples. There's no way you can make something and you don't spend time with what you are making. You have to spend time on it. If you're making a dresser, you have to spend time on that dresser. If you're making a table, you have to make. And so you have to sacrifice. So I remember the day when I was released from prison. There were some people from Faith Temple Church in Portmore, Wellesley Blair Church. As a matter of fact, Wellesley Blair baptized me when I was in prison. And when I started to preach like him. I wanted to do everything like him. But I was in prison and I met a man from Wellesley Blair Church. His name is Brother Morrison. And I remember the day when I was released, Brother Morrison came to meet me at the prison gate. And he said to me, and I need to come close to the camera to say this. He said to me, Brother Morrison said to me, say, listen, I know that you are coming out today, and I'm not going to allow you to come out by yourself because you're going to need help. I can't forget that. But not only that, Brother Morrison took me into his home. Now, listen this now. The man don't know me from Adams. With his wife, his daughter, his granddaughter, and his son, he took a stranger who is an ex-prisoner into his home to stay with him. I stayed with him for about 3 to 4 years. I remember the day when I went into their home. His wife, his late wife, she passed on. She called me and she said, Roderick, I depend on you, I don't want you to fail me. And the first person she showed me was her daughter. She said to me, Roderick, this is Craig. Roderick, this is Trudy. I depend on you, Roderick. And I knew what she was saying. She was saying, don't mess with my daughter. You understand? But there were some people in Portmore, in the church system, who came into the prison, ministered to me in there, grew me in there, helped me to be a better Christian. And when I came out, some was still there working with me. And that's what kept me to stay focused as a Christian. Because I remember there wasn't that time in my spiritual Christian life where I wanted to backslide. I never, but I was discouraged to the point where I wonder if I can really make it into another day. Because by this time I was so serious about serving God that backsliding wasn't a part of my vocabulary. But there were times I wonder, can I really make this?
Wow. What an amazing story, the life of evangelist Roderick Robinson. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
You know, there are times when you could do with some additional cash and you can't, or you really don't want to borrow from friends or family. But if you have a salary like me, Easy Way is here for you thanks to National PC Bank. The Easy Way personal unsecured loan is perfect for holidays, back to school, home, motor vehicle repair, and so much more.
The unsecured loans are for $50,000 to $500,000 with up to 36 months to repay.
Can you believe it? Now I have peace of mind. It's Easy Way all the way.
Dream, 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 dream. Dave, it's time to go to work.
Stop dreaming about owning your own car and make it a reality.
Welcome to McCoy's Auto Imports Limited.
Our service is rated among the best. McCoy Toys Auto Imports, we believe in quality and making your dream reality.
Thank you, McCoy, for making our dream a reality.
Jamaica's only complete music store is now at a new location. 8 South Avenue is the new home of the Music Mart. Shop in ease and comfort for everything music. Pianos, keyboards, wind instruments, violins, CDs of every genre, PA equipment, recording equipment and accessories, DJ equipment, acoustic and electric guitars and drums, amplifiers, effects pedals, tuners, sheet music, instruction texts and reference books. All these and much more at affordable prices. The Music Mart, now at 8 South Avenue, Kingston 10. The Music Mart, Jamaica's only complete music store.
Maypan. Take your prescription to Tate's Pharmacy in Bargain Village Plaza, Maypan. They stock gifts, toys, baby world for everything baby. Visit the food court and the internet cafe all under one roof. Tate's Pharmacy, Maypan, bringing you the best of health.
Why spend your hard-earned cash? Use it to secure a loan at the Manchester Cooperative Credit Union. Approval within 24 hours.
We're in our final segment of Divine Intervention. Let's get back to the wonderful story that has kept you on the edge of your seat.
When I got saved, I remember I wanted to get married, but you know what I used to do? I used to look for the women that in Jamaican context are ugly. And them women that me look for. Because after all, if me ugly, let me find somebody who ugly. But you know, don't limit God. I remember one day the Lord told me that I'm going to marry to a teacher. And he said, the reason why I'm going to let you marry to a teacher, because I want her to help you with certain things that need to complete your life. And so I married to Nadine, my beautiful wife. And I have 4 boys. They're over there playing. 4 boys, Daniel, Asha, Joshua, and Joel. And the Lord, has blessed us with a house, something that I never thought that I would have owned. And I don't have a job except working in the ministry. So for God to bless me with a home, that's a miracle in this time. All right? And my children are going to school and I'm their babysitter. And I'm just all up in their lives trying to give them what I did not get. All right? Ministry. I'm just involved in ministry. I'm a full-time evangelist. I preach all over Jamaica in many churches. Sometimes I'm on the road preaching for 8 months straight sometimes. That's how hectic preaching is for me. I traveled and I preach overseas. I just involved in music. But one of the things that really struck me also about the ministry is that I have seen things that I never know. I mean, you read them in the Bible, but you never know that they were reality until you actually start to see them things that happen in your life. One of the things that happened that caused me to be excited, I remember one day I went to preach in St. Mary, and there was this woman. It was an open air meeting, and this woman got saved. Well, she never got saved yet, but she came to the meeting, and I ministered salvation to her. But the short the short of it is that she was crippled, and the Lord just used me to pull her out of the wheelchair the night, and she got up and started to run, and him said that she was pregnant for 13 years. Now, when I saw that, I was so excited that after the crusade, I wanted to go back down there to preach, just to see if the woman really get healing for you. And so, they invited me to come back and preach another Sunday. And when I went back, the woman started to testify how, the Lord healed her and blah. That is one. I remember I went to another church to preach. I have a crew that I work with, and we went to this church to preach, and there was this baby who the child have a bump. He has a bump in his head. The bump just big and fat. It looked like a cow horn in his head. It tall and fat. And the child went to the doctor several times, and they did operation, and the bump grew back. And this particular night, the mother came to the crusade, and she came to the altar, and she didn't come for prayer for the baby. She came for prayer because she was frustrated and she wanted some money. And so I prayed for her, and I asked her, what's wrong with the baby? And she told me. And we prayed for the baby. Now, we laid hand on the child, me, Jacinta, and Howard. We laid hand on the child, and we prayed. And this is a church that doesn't believe in miracle. They don't believe in tongues and all them stuff there. They believe that them thing they're done away with. And in the midst of all of that, we prayed for the child, and the bump swing in front everybody. Instantly the child was healed. These things are very exciting to me because, you really see the Bible, the Bible come alive in your midst. And these are some of the things that convince me that God is real. The greatest testimony for me is the fact that God is still keeping me. Because you see, it's all right to get saved. It's all right to can go all over the place and testify that, God did all of this for me and blah, blah, blah. But the greatest thing is to be kept by his grace. And to me, that's my greatest testimony. And so I want to talk to some mother. I want to encourage some parents, not to give up off their sons, not to give up off their daughter. Maybe they are in prison, but pray and believe God to deliver them. We are living testimony that God does save. He delivers. He set people free. We have seen that. We can testify about it, that he saves and he keeps. And if you are serious about serving him, he will save you. He will keep you. And yes, if you are looking for perfect people in church, you have to wait till you go heaven. On earth, you're not going to find no perfect people. But you have to look beyond people and serve the Lord. And I want to say to those who are suffering, you are sick in your body, whatever is happening to you, remember that God is faithful. And if you put your trust in him, he will not let you down.
I know your hearts were richly blessed by this testimony of Evangelist Robinson. But join us next week for another life-changing story on Divine Intervention.